Good Thursday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversation Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. Well, we made it over the hump, and we're in the home stretch toward the weekend. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Thursday. Have a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. And in today's news you can use, Tech Expert Andrea Smith rejoined me on Conversations Live, the radio show this week, to help you guys with your Black Friday shopping and to let you know about some deals going on right now. You don't want to miss that. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Thursday headlines. In national news, Biden and Xi met at the sidelines of the APEC conference. Biden and Xi begin their first talks in a year as global conflict, fentanyl, and stable relations top agenda at Bay Area summit. President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi met on Wednesday on the sidelines of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperative Conference. Senior White House officials said Biden would walk away from the talks with major announcements expected on curbing the flow of chemicals used in the production of fentanyl and concrete steps to revive military-to-military communications. One senior administration official said Wednesday's talk will stand out from the last time Biden and Xi spoke a year ago in Bali. The official says there weren't concrete agreements coming out of Bali, unlike what is expected this week. The official spoke on condition of anonymity to preview aspects of the meeting. To the domestic audience in China, Beijing continues to blame the U.S. for problems in the bilateral relations and urges Washington to establish correct views of China. The official news channel said in a series of editorials that Washington should walk out of its zero-sum mentality and expand cooperation to further stabilize and improve bilateral relations. Beijing had expressed hope that Washington would respond with concrete actions. Ahead of the meeting between Biden and Xi, senior White House officials said Biden would walk away with some major announcements. The retreat consists of 16 acres of formal gardens and is surrounded by a 654-acre estate. It is located in Woodside, California, about 25 miles south of San Francisco. Biden and Xi are stressing the need for their nations to strengthen mutual understanding while cautioning that their interests will sometimes conflict. The pair opened their face-to-face meeting in the San Francisco Bay Area with a solid handshake. Later they sat at one long table together rather than at separate ones. In international news, Israeli tanks and soldiers enter Gaza Shifa hospital compound. 2.5 weeks after sending tanks and ground troops into northern Gaza, Israeli forces entered a hospital early Wednesday where they claim Hamas militants operate. The director of the hospitals in Gaza said Israeli tanks were inside the medical compound and that soldiers had entered buildings, including the emergency and surgery departments, which house intensive care units. Shifa Hospital has become a symbol of the widespread suffering of Palestinian civilians during the war between Israel and Hamas, which erupted after the militant group killed some 1,200 people and seized around 240 captives in an attack on October the 7th in southern Israel. The Israeli army claims the militant group uses hospitals as cover for its fighters and has set up its main compound center in and beneath the Shifa Hospital, the largest in the besieged territory. Both Hamas and the Shifa Hospital staff have denied the claims. More than 11,200 Palestinians, 2/3 of them women and minors, have been killed since the war began, according to the health ministry in Hamas-run Gaza, which does not differentiate between civilian and militant deaths. About 2,700 people have been reported missing. In more national news, House votes to prevent a government shutdown as GOP Speaker Johnson relies on Democrats for help. The House voted overwhelmingly Tuesday to prevent a government shutdown after new Speaker Mike Johnson was forced to reach across the aisle to Democrats when hard-right conservatives revolted against his plan. Johnson's proposal to temporarily fund the government into the new year passed on a bipartisan 336-95 tally, but 93 Republicans voted against it. It was the first time the new speaker had to force vital legislation through the House, and he showed a willingness to leave his right-flank Republicans behind, the same political move that cost the last House Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, his job just weeks ago. For now, Johnson of Louisiana appeared on track for a better outcome. His approach, which the Senate is expected to approve, effectively pushes a final shutdown over government funding to the new year. In entertainment news, Kevin Hart will receive the Kennedy Center's Mark Twain Prize for Lifetime Achievement in Comedy. Comedian Kevin Hart has been chosen to receive the Kennedy Center's Mark Twain Prize for Lifetime Achievement in American Humor, capping a 3-decade career that has seen him rise from the open mics of Philadelphia to become one of his generation's most successful performers. Hart, 44, launched his career as a teenager performing at venues such as the Laugh House in his native Philadelphia under the name of Lil Kev. Hart has gone on to become one of the country's most bankable and ubiquitous performers, with 11 of his films opening at #1 at the box office. All told, his films have grossed more than $4.23 billion in global revenue. And finally, in business news, Wall Street adds some more to its stellar week in November so far. Wall Street added a bit more to its big rally from a day before and to its gains so far for November. The S&P 500 rose 0.2% Wednesday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average climbed 163 points, and the Nasdaq Composite edged up 0.1%. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Thursday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. You are more than a place on a map. You are more than a job. You are a person who was created by the Most High for a purpose. It is that purpose that you should embrace today. So let's get to it. Have an amazing Thursday. We are part of my conversation coming up with Tech Expert Andrea Smith in today's News You Can Use. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your News You Can Use. Tech Expert Andrea Smith rejoined me on Conversations Live, the radio show this week, to give you guys some tips for shopping on Black Friday. Here's a bit of our conversation.
Andrea, always a pleasure to have you back on with us. Thanks for the time.
Oh, Cyrus, it's always a pleasure being with you.
So when you're here, I know we're going to be talking about two things, deals and tech. Maybe not in that order, but at least we're going to get them both in there. So can you share with us, Andrea, some tips you have ahead of the holiday shopping season that our audience can benefit from?
Absolutely. I have deals and tech and tips. First tip, don't go Black Friday shopping without a list. You are guaranteed to overspend, I promise you. Make a list of the items that you want to get. Start researching the prices. Look for the deals because, you know, the deal today is not always the best deal you're going to get. They fluctuate. So do your research. If you're looking for a great deal on a robot floor cleaner, I want you to check out iRobot's Roomba Combo J5 Plus. It is a combination robot vacuum and mop. In vacuum mode, it goes around the house, it picks up dust and dirt, and then it goes back to the base. It empties itself, so you never have to touch it. And then, when you fill the robot's bin with water, it's smart enough, it becomes a mop that's smart enough to avoid any carpets, keeping them dry. It also is smart enough to avoid obstacles in its path, like cords and shoes. This is usually $7.99. But during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, it is $300 off.
Wow, that is a very good deal. It's something I think everybody can be able to use. I love that tip, Andrea, by the way, I have to say, of making sure they have a list, because I think even though the stores would love for them to overspend, I think if they're looking at a budget, I think that is a great way for them to make sure that they're kind of staying within their budget. So thank you for that tip.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you for tuning in to this edition of Conversation Daily News. But I got on tomorrow to wrap up this week. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversation Daily News today. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.